All right, July 29th, 11:45 my time. Fed has come out and spoken. And I just want to do this video because I didn't take any trades, but I'm, you know, feeling like I just want to analyze what happened here. So let's look at the S&P. First off, the Fed rates were unchanged, and there wasn't a lot of commentary. I'm sure they're still yapping about it in the conferences soon, but um, in general here, so on the S&P, we saw a huge reverse, but we're back in this fib zone. What I don't know is, we are in this on the 240 here, we're on this area of support and we're bouncing right back off of it. So is this line going to hold, or is this kind of you see on the 60-minute here, a wedge with divergence as they always have? Are we going to break through? If we break this line, I think we certainly shoot higher. Or are we going to turn around up here watching that? But shot up here off of this, I don't really see a way to have played this where I'm kicking myself. It's Fed day, so I'd rather not lose money than be in and wish I wasn't. On the euro, so dollar weakening is overall what we're seeing. We did kind of have this wedgie formation here on the 240, on the 60-minute, definitely some divergence. I was watching, I think if you would, what you could do is say, this was a bit of a double bottom. We could look at on the 15 here, and this was the last structural with these two tops here. So you could place a market or a limit order above that and then target these highs up here. That would have worked. But I guess that would have been a way to do it if you were going to. On the 15, I did start to see, we were in this up in this retracement flag. And then right before the announcement, we got to here. So I guess a placement above here. But we did have this little flag here, and I did notice it on the 5-minute, and we broke out of it. But at the time, I just wasn't confident enough, I guess, to look at that as a valid reason to go get long before the Fed spoke. It's not a trade I probably would have taken without news. So, yeah, there's that. And then let's look at gold real quick. So gold also shot up here. I mean, we were in the, well, here, let's just zoom back out. On the daily, we're kind of in the fib zone here. On the 240, we had been in a macro uptrend, but pulling back really hard. This was kind of that last line that we had to defend. And then on the 60-minute, we were kind of forming this wedge into this zone here. I guess that's a way of looking at it, right? And this wedge did have divergence a little bit. But actually, this wedge had pretty significant divergence. If I throw this on here, so like this low here, look how high that is compared to here, right? So maybe the best way to a red gold was on the 240. If this line didn't hold, we would break into a more bearish structure, and it was sort of last line of defense. On the 60, we had kind of come down impulsively and then been ranging around in here. And then on the 15-minute, broke through. We did make it to these highs, would have been a good place to close it out. That said, some people in my trading group caught this exact trade, but it just wasn't super clear to me. And so I have like weird feelings right now of I should have done it, I should have caught it. Bummed about it, but at the same time, it's like, well, I didn't see it, and I'd much rather be in this position where I'm just looking for fresh new trades right now, as opposed to losing money and wishing I didn't get in. So just want to make a video on this, more to come, but this is sort of post-Fed. This is how the markets played out in gold and in the euro and the S&P. Certainly seeing dollar weakness. All right.